This is 75.
63, climb maintain 13,000.
13,000, Tempo 63.
63, contact the New York Center 128.3.
28, Tempo 63, good day.
On Approach is a flight sim and aviation enthusiast podcast featuring the week's top user-submitted stories and news from users around the world. Welcome to another show, ladies and gentlemen. From the top that side, the maple syrup can, aka Kevin.
Hello.
Got Mr. Noodle right there. I'll give you one guess as to where he's located. The shirt does not lie.
I don't know.
Where conventions are good to happen.
I'm gonna touch on that again. and over there, Mrs. Buck Smudge.
Good morning, miss.
There he goes. What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? We're here again, another week, on time this time. Can we get a round of applause for on time? You know, the news came in this week, and so we've got plenty of topics, and I think we're going to kind of go off on at least one of these because it's just going to be a lot of fun to discuss. It's a real-world topic, which is awesome. I mean, we have never said that we are a flight sim only show, which is really leaves things open-ended, and I like that. We're an aviation enthusiast show, and so when there's real-world topics that touch the world of aviation, much like Harrison Ford's landing on the taxiway when we talked about that, or Air Canada coming in short final on a taxiway, we talked about that, and we've got a really hot one this week at the top of the news. So before we get into that, how were your weeks? All good?
Yeah, not too
Back
bad.
to work, back at
Except
work,
for the
man,
weather.
sucks.
So why does the weather suck? Why does the weather suck in Vegas?
Oh man, it's been, well, last night it got super windy. Rain was coming down pretty quickly. It came down at a clip, and then all of a sudden, and the whole emergency weather alert came across my cell phone and everybody else in the house, and it was like, thunderstorms, flash flood warning till like midnight last night. And I didn't realize it because at first I'm hearing, I was playing No Man's Sky, and I thought it was the in-game sound, all this noise I'm hearing, right? Well, not so much that is very distinct. When you get one of those cell phone alerts. Mm-hmm. But I kept hearing all this whooshing noise, and I'm like, wow, I never noticed a sound like this of wind in the game. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I just went off the planet. You don't hear wind noise in space as far as I know. So I do this number.
Fake news.
I'm like, oh shit, it's really windy out. And I cracked open my window, and I can just smell the rain, and the wind just whoosh, and shit was slapping around. So so the weather has been, I like the smell of rain. It's great because it's cleansing. But the weather's just been really weird the past couple of weeks here in Vegas. It's been really weird. So
we know that there's a smell of rain. I think we can all, agree to that. But I'm going to ask the guy that knows about snow. So I believe that there is a smell to the air when it's going to snow. Do you guys say that in Canada as well? Do you ever step outside and it's just like, it's going to snow today?
Actually, it's weird. Before Kevin starts,
no,
it gets warmer before it snows, or it seems to get warmer. It's weird.
And I think we lost Noodle there for a second. He's
a
big blue blob right now.
It is?
Yeah. We'll see if we can get you back.
There it goes.
Hey! It worked!
Yeah, it just flipped out. It went out on its own.
Excellent. So it gets warmer before it snows, or seems to.
It feels like it's got warmer, and then suddenly you get this big snowstorm, and it's just like, it must be cold.
Huh.
So, because weather when it's cold behaves very differently than what we're used to. And it's very extreme. So before it snows, you'll have an overcast that's going to come in. And between a clear sky and an overcast, you have an increase in temperature because the heat just stays below that cloud layer. And so it does get warmer when it gets covered up. So if it's like, it's going to be super cold if the sky is clear, but then there's like a cold front of whatever, like a bunch of clouds coming, and then it's going to get warmer, and then it's going to start snowing if it has to snow. But there's no smell to the snow. But I know what you mean with the rain. And I read somewhere that the rain, the smell of the rain is not very good for your health, because it's a basically chemical. It lifts all the
everything that's sitting on the ground.
Shit that's on the ground, and then you smell that, and apparently it's not good for your health.
Interesting.
So,
don't go sniffing any rain, Sparky.
Just
now that you know.
Remember, Mr. Kevin, don't eat the yellow snow. Don't.
No.
yeah. Always keep that one in mind. Don't eat the yellow snow. All right. Let's do the run up. Sparky, what do you have for the run up? You have anything?
I got a little gripe. It's to do with deliveries, to be honest with you, and how bad they are or seem to be for me, where I am. I ordered several things off Amazon this week, and their carriers are just sucking bad. I mean, I've even had a package that hasn't even arrived at my house, even though it says it's been delivered. So they've obviously delivered it to the wrong address, and it's not
stolen.
high value. It's not a high value, product, so I'm not too worried about it. But it's the news from Amazon at the moment is they're going to be dropping next day deliveries in the UK because they can't. Their fulfillment centers can't handle the amount of goods coming in, and I don't think that's down to Amazon. I think it's down to the carriers they're using. I think their carriers really need a good kick in the ass to do a better job. What do you guys think?
Sucks to be you. Noodle, what you got?
There was a couple of things that hit me during the course of the week, but I forgot to write them down. So, yeah. I mean,
I'll take the baton. Pass it down. I'll take the baton, bro. Pass it down. I'll take the baton. All right, got it. All right, on me. Stickers. It's this thing, right? Like, you buy something, you get stickers. You go to expos, you get stickers. And honestly, sometimes you just kind of like stickers. And there are places where you can order random packs of stickers. And I like stickers. The problem is, where do I put the stickers? This incredible photobomb kit, like
Those are things.
it's a sticker bomb kit. And so like I got a sticker bomb kit for the kids so that they can have like random stickers. But then I saw another sticker bomb kit that had like some cute, more adult material kind of stuff. Like that's cute, right? A little slightly, sexy or whatever. But, but then I have obviously, right, the nerdy stuff. And I've just been having a rough time because like I have all these decals and I have a lot of cool ones, but I don't know where to put them. So I have a toolbox, and my toolbox usually gets the major decals. Yeah, exactly. So the toolbox gets the major decals, the stuff that I feel like I'll never get rid of that toolbox. I will live in that toolbox if it's the last possession I own. And so I feel like that toolbox will stay with me, and I wanted to kind of document my special things on that toolbox. So it gets my important stuff. But then I have a lot of, like Kevin would say, rando stuff. And so I finally decided that my notebook would start to get sticker bombed. And so I'm starting to sticker bomb my notebook, and I'll pick the next one and sticker bomb it. And I think I'm going to fill up the entire thing wrapped, right? Like the entire thing. The kids also want to wrap their computer case in decals, the whole case. But I want to know from the people out there, what are some other great ideas for places to put decals or ways to display decals, right? Because maybe somebody out there is crafty or has a crafty wife that made them some cool way to display decals. I want to know, where do you put your decals? Give me some ideas in the comments down below. And yeah, maybe I'll share some photos if I decide to take one of your ideas. Mr. Kevin, on to you.
Yeah, quite a few things happened this week. Not much flight sim related, but I got a fun one. So I went for. Some of you guys will know I'm kind of a car enthusiast. I own a Subaru BRZ, and now I own an Audi S4 as well. For my trips between Toronto and Montreal, I got a car in both places. But I had, long story short, I had maintenance due on my Audi this week, and for some people who are in the Volkswagen group will know like the performance tune that you can get for an S4. I've installed a Unitronic tune on it. It bumps it up to like 500 horsepower or close to that. And I was due for a major service at Audi this week. So I tuned it back to stock so that they wouldn't see it and still not void my warranty. You know, you try those things, right? So,
didn't they?
Oh boy, did they find out! They found out. Yes, they absolutely did. So now I have like $2,000 of repairs to do on the car, not under warranty, because it's TD1. It's totally void.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's part. I mean, it's part of the game, right? When you tune a car, you accept those realities. But I'm curious to see you guys in the chat. I know David Graham's gonna be all over like, yes, I got an S4 too, and it's tuned. Is it still under warranty? I'm curious to see. Have you guys had any like issues with warranty and tunes and stuff like that? I'm genuinely curious to see what people had for experience similar to mine with dealerships and tunes. It's quite funny.
I love that. I think that cars kind of go hand in hand with planes. You know, it's just another method of transportation that we can obsess over. I wonder too, car guys, check in the chat below. Let's find out who the car guys are. Or gals, of course, or gals.
Yes.
Cool. Good stuff, guys. Let's get on to the Sky Fives. Here we go. From the top, taking the #1 spot, a new name in #1 for the week, Mr. Steve Simmons, 1958. Sir, congratulations. Thank you for the wonderful stories. You've helped many. Following up, #2 spot, Ivana Fly. #3, Mr. Gibbon. #4, Just Jacob, followed by Mr. Tarpoon, Mr. Dread Metis, Catterly1, Flyby, and last but definitely not least, in a #9 spot, Dylan C., one of our newest Gold Club patrons and supporters. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you guys all for your contributions this week. We've had some pretty wonderful stories, and again, we could not do it without your contributions. Otherwise, we've got no shows, so keep them coming if you want the show to keep rolling strong. Thank you, guys. Sky 5. And now on to the top news. This one submitted by Angeli662. Man steals plane and crashes after unauthorized takeoff from Seattle airport. So this is bananas. So the article's over at NPR. But basically, in short, what happened was a mechanic or let's say a ground crew personnel for the airline took a Q400 and up in the sky, taxied, takeoff up in the sky, and just had an absolute blast before ditching the plane in a remote island. There are so many questions. Like, let's timeline it from the start. Noodle, I know you're passionate about this because I saw you kind of go back and forth on Discord with a few people discussing this. But let's go to the very, very beginning. This guy's been with the airline for 3 years. And here he is staring at a plane thinking, I'm going to get in that. How do you feel about that level of access being so easy? What do you feel went wrong?
I'm just going to put it all out there. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible. My whole issue with this is security. You have the ground people that they do the engine run-ups, they take them over to, a hush house, which we would call that in the military a hush house. For the military folks, you know what I mean. Basically, it's a location that you can fire up engines and do checks and this, that, and the other, right? So my problem with this is I don't think, although we don't know, he was not certified to be one of those people who could do a plane run-up, flip the switches, and all get it rolling when they do tests. If he is, then I'm sure it might have been in line for what he had to do specifically. But my problem is this. He basically walks out to said plane. He gets a tug, moves said plane. He then gets in said plane, closes the door, fires it up, taxis, and take off. Where the hell was the security? Where were the other ground crew people towing a plane? If you look at a lot of these videos and all, there's always a crew of people because they wing walk, How was this person able to do all of these things and get in the air? He should have been tackled the moment when he got a tug to back it out of its area in maintenance. So how did that happen? To me, this is a complete failure. It was a lack in supervision. It was an extreme lack in security and an extreme lack in policy and procedures. And I also feel that the people were very, just nonchalant the whole thing about, this will never happen because blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. And if you're an airline individual and all, that was a failure on your part, because there's been so many things that happened over the past, say, 8 years with planes and all that. You should be looking at security and policy and procedures from ground to top. And to me, this is a huge policy, procedure, and security issue. Mm-hmm. Period.
So stop. Hold on.
What I understand, Noodle, is that he was also given clearance by the tower.
No, he was not. No, the ATC very clearly said that. No, he did not. He didn't get clearance. No.
I read
the ATC was very clear. No. They were like, identify yourself, you who are taxiing and lining up on center, identify yourself. Like, they were constantly trying to get him to radio back.
So my thing from what you said, Noodle, the tug, where did you get that info that there was a
I read tug? This. I'm going to see if I can't find it.
Well, I mean, look, if it was in the maintenance hut, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody, it's him and maybe like a couple other guys, but it's probably not out of the ordinary that he grabs a maintenance, a tug and pushes it back. Like, it's probably not out of the ordinary. But but I get you, Noodle. Like, you seem to have some very, very valuable information because you worked on ground crew for military stuff, and so you understand that, like, certain people can start the plane. Certain people can, taxi it into a hangar for maintenance. Not like everyone. And my thing is this, like, I was having this chat with Anthony as I was driving south today. I said, very clearly, airplanes need a valet mode. Just like a car, when you pull up to valet and you hand over a special key, or you hand over the key and the car is in a special mode, airplanes need a valet mode. They need a mode that lets people taxi a plane into a maintenance hangar, but will absolutely not let you go open throttle. Will absolutely not let you, maybe set the flaps without maintenance override or whatever. I mean, who knows what can be limited, right? But, like, they need a maintenance mode. There has to be some way to classify this plane as, fools, it's in maintenance mode. And in no situations do you need to run this up to max power. Right? And if it does, then that's going to be done by a pilot, just in case, like the Vulcan, it decides to take off from the runway. And, you guys remember that footage, right? Like, the Vulcan, he's supposed to be doing a speed run down the runway. All of a sudden, he's flying. Oh, shit, I got to put it down again, right? But that was a pilot that had to handle that.
Edson.
Yeah.
Edson, even my fork truck has a keypad lock on it that I have to put a code in to use it to stop unauthorized people from using it.
There you go. Now this guy, he gets it up, right? So that sounds dirty, right? But he gets the plane up into the sky. ATC, the ATC is starting to get released in larger chunks now, so you can hear more and more of the communication. And they are constantly on the ground telling him, like, hey, you know, identify yourself, tail number, call sign, identify yourself, identify yourself. And he never did. And then he turns to line up on the center runway, and they're like, yo, identify yourself. And one of the planes that was waiting to line up just said, hey, that guy just passed us on the right and lined up in front of us, lined up on the runway. So that guy was holding short. And I feel like SeaTac is not a little airstrip. SeaTac is lots of taxiing. And in my mind, and I brought this up earlier in a random conversation with Kevin, it's like, where was some kind of an emergency deployment on the ground? You see this plane taxiing, you're like, dude, to us right now, this is unidentified. We are the tower. We can contact ground at any point. We can contact personnel, security. Yo, stop that plane. We need officers, police, fire trucks, whatever, on the side of that plane to stop this plane. What's going on? We did not clear this to taxi. And like, how come that didn't happen fast enough, right? But he gets the plane up into the sky. And, you know, Sparks, I think you've seen some of the footage. The guy does a full loop. Look at this. This is a full loop, inverted loop in a Dash 8, man. And not only does he do it, he pulls out. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. This is madness.
I have to say though, the military response was very quick,
swift.
And if he'd have been going in the other direction, he would have got shot down. If
Agreed.
he'd have been heading towards the city, he would have got shot down for sure.
So what's interesting is that he, you know, in his conversations with ATC, and they were fairly casual, you could tell that he knew he fucked up. You could tell that it was like he had this incredibly brilliant idea on the ground. That GTA moment that if anybody plays Grand Theft Auto too much, you probably have felt it at least once or twice. Where it's that GTA moment of like, if I did just hop into this right now, what? And he did though.
Do you think he said to his mate, hey mate, watch this, hold my beer?
I'm pretty sure he did. HMB, bro. HMB, BRB. And he, you know, he gets this thing up and he's straight joyriding it. And honestly, I don't want to sensationalize this, right? But he wasn't out to hurt anyone. He very clearly told Tower, I don't want to mess anything up. I don't want to hurt anyone. Like, you know, they told him, hey, there's an airstrip off to your right. You can land there. That's McCord. It's what's funny is they called it McCord Field, and I believe it's an Air Force base. But they made sure to refer to this as McCord Field to not trigger him, right? To not trigger him. But he was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet. And then it registered in his mind that it was McCord Air Force Base. And then he goes, oh, you know what, man? They probably have anti-aircraft over there. And the ATC responds, he's like, oh, no, man, they don't have that kind of stuff there. He's like, oh, they'll rough me up if I set it down there. So this guy had enough logic to start to register, damn, dude, like, I can't end this alive because I'm going to get the shit kicked out of me.
But the thing is, has it been confirmed that he was suicidal?
No.
Oh.
That, to me, I
so.
But confirmation would mean a note. It would mean lots of evidence on computers. It would mean, you know, to know that he was genuinely suicidal. It almost at one point sounded like he didn't want to die. He wasn't ready to land it yet, but he didn't want necessarily to die.
There was nothing suicidal about it. That came from audio recording of part of the ATC bit where the guy was, the ATC, the controller was thinking that, but there has been nothing shown to indicate that he actually was.
There's no way you work on a ramp for 3 years. You're 29 years old, and you don't. You take off with a plane. You steal a plane. I mean, you go to jail for life for even taxiing a plane to the runway and not
He knew
take
that.
off.
He said it. He said
knew that.
he said a guy like me,
Definitely
they'll
knew
probably send me to jail for life, huh?
Oh,
and the
yeah.
ATC's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the ATC's like, we're not gonna think about that, Rich. And he goes, well, at least a guy like me. And so like he knew in his head, he was already registering, but none of the things he mentioned were, I'm not gonna land. I'm gonna crash this thing. I feel like the suicidal tag of this whole thing was all part of, we need to divert the fact that this guy stole a fucking plane, bros. We need to highlight this suicidal guy who would have done anything to die took a plane. But the reality is, he just took a plane for a joyride the same way somebody would, you know, take a really, really nice Lamborghini out here in Oakland that happened to have the door open and the keys in it. They'll take it out for a joyride. They might even drop it off real nice if they can park it somewhere and not get caught. Right? But it's one of those things where the suicidal tag, when that enters, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, the guy was crazy. The guy was crazy. No wonder he took the plane. And you stop thinking about, well, where was process?
Yeah, where's security?
Because he never
There is-
mentioned suicidal.
There was a line in the ATC that says, and I'm trying to find it right now. I'm just paraphrasing, but he was trying to do barrel roll, and if it was going to work, he'd just put it down and call it a night.
Yeah, I saw
Yes,
that.
he did. There isn't footage of this, you know, that piece of the, you know, the footage where the actual impact happened or anything. But people said that what he was doing was more aerobatic maneuvers when the actual crash happened. So this guy was just, he was living it out, bro. It's like he was like, he was flight simming. He was flight simming IRL. And what's crazy is that now on that topic, it's gotten to the news that, you know, Seattle plane thief said he had trained on Flight Simulator and did not plan on landing. And so
That's
now
freaking
the heat is coming around to our industry
Of course,
because
it will.
of some
Because they're going to
asshat.
blame it on someone. They've got to blame it on something.
No.
Simulator's fault.
No. Here, you know, again, this was something that was discussed in Discord I was involved in, and this is where I vehemently say no to this. And I think that this is not the right way of thinking. Because, like I was saying in Discord, mid-'80s and '90s, music was being used, and people would try and go after artists going after, you know, their art form because kids and other people are out there murdering and robbing and shit. And when they found them, they just happened to hear coming off the speakers in their vehicles either some hard, you know, rock music, or at the time when gangster rap was still happening. Yeah. So what was the thing that everybody was doing? They were trying to go after rock and rap to use it as an excuse for what somebody does. And I'm sorry, you can't tell me, and again, we had this discussion in Discord, and I'm sorry, you cannot use a flight simulator as an excuse, because at the same time that someone can claim that, you should be able to claim some asshole who takes a car and uses it as a weapon and mows down somebody, which is something I talked about in Discord. Why hasn't any major auto manufacturer been sued billion times over whenever someone's gotten into a vehicle accident? Okay, that's not happened. You know, to go and pin flight sim, no, that's not, no.
So it says,
I do not see it.
It says government and industry air safety experts said Saturday that the references to video games suggested he had access to personal desktop simulators, perhaps depicting the same Bombardier Q400 model he stole on Friday, that can realistically replicate the performance of all aircraft systems, airborne maneuvers, and even instructions from air traffic controllers. According to an unofficial audio recording of Russell's radio communication with controllers on Friday, a controller talking on the open channel said that he is just flying around and that Russell could use some help with controlling the aircraft. Majestic Q400.
No, and here's another one. You cannot go after, let's say, Majestic, because you would have to go improve and show that they willingly knew and sold said product to some individual who then used what was depicted on the computer screen to use in real life. That's bullshit. It's bullshit.
I'm with you.
You know, how do you do that? How do you go and pin a game or a developer for something that's happened in the real world? It's not been done with music. They tried that for years, you know, and everything else. So how can you go and blame a video game? Rockstar was blamed for so much shit for GTA.
Yeah.
Hello? Did anything ever happen to them? No. Again, it is an excuse.
They did, however. They did, however, on GTA get the parental rating up so that Tyler could not go out and buy GTA today alone. He could not, even if he had money in hand, he could not buy GTA. So they did get that. But what happens to our nerdy software now, right? Like if the government and the air safety experts have their eyes on it, right? Does that mean that they'll start to impose something on us? Some type of a dumbing it down, some kind of a certification. They have to
go after everybody.
Some kind of a recommendation to Bombardier. Listen, a recommendation to Bombardier, to Boeing, etc., to not allow these virtual simulator game manufacturers to model systems in such detail. Those are realistic. That can happen. They could send out a recommendation to aircraft manufacturers that say, we recommend that you do not disclose internal functions of an airplane systems, right? If a pilot is going to need to learn it, they'll have the material available to them through the airline. But desktop simulators don't need to simulate every system as exact. They could do that.
So that also means that you got to get rid of every single Q400 video on YouTube that shows you how the cockpit operates.
Right.
Because then that means that...
The thing is, it's also not a quick plane to start up and get rolling.
Hell no. I don't fly the thing because it's so hard.
But if you let... Okay, in this case, it was a ramp agent. But if it was like an airplane mechanic that had basic knowledge, if it was a pilot... An actual pilot. I mean, there's nothing. You know, we've seen it before with a flight in Europe that I forget the name. The pilot pulled it down and killed everyone on board. This guy, I think that the real topic that we should be talking about is why he did that and the suicide part of it and how.
It's fun, bro. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun.
No, this guy took the plane knowingly. I think he knew that the outcome would be that. There's no way he wouldn't know, and he said it. He had a few loose screws, and
he said, I guess I know that now. When he left, he didn't know that. Once he got so deep in the shit, he knew.
The problem with you can't go. They can't impose anything like you're saying with the flight sim by not doing this. Because here's the thing, and I also said it in Discord. And your reference with
join the Discord
from yes.
Join the Discord. Lots of great convo.
What was it, about 3 years ago? It was a Eurowings pilot, wasn't it? Eurowings, yeah, I believe it was about 3 years ago.
Right, okay. You're right.
Whatever went on in his brain, and he did what he did, and it was highly unfortunate. So. This is a trained guy who knows how to fly the Airbus. Who was sued other than maybe his estate, you know, and the airline company? You can't go and impose anything on the software developers for Flight Sim or any other game by saying these have to be ripped off the market. Well, now you have to put disclaimers on your software and shit. No. Why? Because it doesn't matter. I right now can still go down to my local airport. The closest one to me is North Las Vegas Airport. I can start and get, like everybody else, you can get basic rudimentary aircraft piloting skills and then still rip off a plane for a couple $100, okay? You can go back later, rip off the plane, and do the exact same shit. So who do you blame then? Then it comes down to, well, now you have to blame the facility who trained him. Now you have to go and blame the instructors. You see how this cannot be done.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
So what I think can happen, by no means that's what's going to happen, any evidence leading to that, but manufacturers like Airbus and Boeing are very, very scared of those kinds of bad PR. And when we look at Flight Sim Labs, we look at Aerosoft, we look at PMDG, particularly with relationships with Boeing and Airbus. What I would not like to see is those companies pulling from those relationships, and maybe because there's a lot of money into training, PMDG would be like, well, we favor that rather than selling to customers, so we'll withdraw those products from consumers and only sell to the commercial level. That's something that I fear could happen. Maybe it's not going to happen, but it's something that could sadly happen.
I'm with you. I think that's my fear, is that's going to be the reach. The reach is not going to be dear developers. The reach is going to be dear manufacturers. You deal with it.
I'm going to mirror what Kevin said. Basically, I'm just hoping that the manufacturers, Boeing, Airbus, Bombardier, don't pull these partnerships with the flight sim companies to create these incredible aircraft that we get to fly on our simulators. It would be a very, very, very sad day if that actually came to happen. But I've got a funny feeling this is going to go a lot deeper. This is going to be very political. You're going to have politicians involved. You're going to have groups involved saying it's dangerous, we should pull flight simulators because you're training people to fly into buildings and shit. And we've heard it all before, and I'm scared of that aspect.
This one submitted by Mr. Gibbon. Clouds above the California wildfires. So this, not so much a story, but an incredible visual. Being here in California, we are seeing the smoke come in over the bay just about every day. And it's crazy because the sun becomes this fire red ball. And when you mix that orange, dirty smoke with a beautiful California orange sunset, and everything is at the right angles, you get this. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So low clouds over the fire, low California sunset in the background. I mean, that is just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful photograph, and absolutely horrific sight at the same time, because California is burning.
Are those Rex clouds? I can see a lot of the same patterns here.
I know, yeah. How funny it is, right? That so many people argue popcorn clouds aren't real. They totally are. Have you ever been on an airplane? Popcorn clouds are real. No, this is wild, man. And to think that there are people flying into that willingly, to put these out it's incredible. It really is. So I read a story today, and also ended up watching a documentary on that 747 and how hard the guy fought and how much he battled to get it to be put into service. I think it was interesting because I think, Sparky, you mentioned it to me first. That 747 that you see here that's now in service, originally the U.S. Forestry Service did not bless its use, and it wasn't necessarily budget. No. It wasn't necessarily budget. It was capacity. They had, the original rules said that planes that can hold between X and Y of retardant or water capacity, but the 747 was so far beyond Y that it was simply out of scope. And the guy fought so hard. This was his personal fleet of planes that he had converted, and obviously as a business, right, to the government. But he had these things converted, and he just was lobbying so hard to get it to put into service. He's like, you got people with a bucket, and I can fly a 747 over that entire ridge and saturate it with water. And you got a helicopter with a bucket.
Yeah, this will lay down a mile of retardant.
That's incredible.
It's mile.
Incredible.
Holy fuck.
So, you know, thanks to that dude for putting up a damn good fight and finally getting it into service, because man, number one, from the aviation side, right? Like these videos that pop up of this plane pulling up like up a ridge or swooping down, oh my god, they're incredible. And number two, that capacity and how much that helps is amazing as well.
Because it's a big jet as well, it can get distance, you know, it can fly, you know, you can take off from pretty much, you know, any international or large airfield and get to where it needs to go very quickly.
It's a Dash 400, is it?
I believe it is. I'm not 100% positive.
I see the winglets on it. We need a conversion for the PMDG for that plane.
Yes, make it so.
I want to do some effects for that, like the water drop, the retardant drop. I want to have that. We need that in our
that livery.
Make it so, Robert.
Look, I will just take that livery and run it with Lorby, SI's, Fire X, and just have that handle it.
Yes, make it so. Make it so, Randazzo. Make it so.
I think in light of all this, with all the fires and all, I hope more businesses or maybe the state itself will look into these 747s or any other aircraft, the high capacity, and you can find the pilots who will want to, you know, fly these birds in times like this, because this is horrendous work for the people on the ground volunteering, and or if it's their job to put out these fires. And you know, when this is all over, the toll on the human part of it, the physical side of it, when these people are done, I'm sure it's going to be a bitch, you know, for these people who are on the ground fighting.
Such an amazing point. Such an amazing point. When you can attack with something as big as this, fucking do it, because you're saving people hours, you're saving people days, you're saving people weeks of potentially having to fight a fire, like the guy said, with buckets.
Right.
Put it out.
This needs to happen. It really needs to happen. So if you have the capability,
more of these.
Please get more of those, please.
McDonald 220 coming to P3D. This one submitted by Darren Vox.
We lost Noodle.
What?
Noodle.
I'll get him back. You ready?
There we go. I think I might know what it is. We'll discuss later.
The McDonald 119-220 was a business jet produced by the McDonald Aircraft in the mid-1950s. It had a configuration that was unique by bizjet standards. With 4 engines mounted on individual pods underneath a low wing, it could accommodate 10 passengers in a luxury executive configuration, but could carry as many as 26. Here's some dude. Here's one. Some dude is making for P3D and FSX. Check the link. So interesting looking aircraft. I have to say,
it's funky looking.
I would fly it.
Of course you would. Do you fly anything strange?
I would fly it.
It reminds me of the B-58 Hustler. It was basically one of our first jet kind of bombers that the Air Force had. It reminds me of those lines, but it is odd to see. I've never seen this plane before, but
looking at the nose, and
4 engines like that.
4-engine bizjet,
and it's a bizjet. Yeah.
So it's like
look at that nose.
After the A340, that's the most useless thing with 4 engines I've ever seen.
Jacob the Fox says, I only just started the project, doing the model in Blender, then we'll switch to 3ds Max to do the texturing and animations. Literally just started. But here's progress so far. This is my first ever attempt at making an aircraft for a sim. This will be V4 only. We're this far so far. So we are on this story at its infancy. and I like that.
Yeah, we can follow this one.
We got a long time to keep track of this bad boy, but I will, because if he's able to say, I'm developing for V4 only that boldly, then he's probably comfortable with some of the requirements for his plane to function correctly in sim. And, you know, he seems to be focused, and that's going to be a good thing, I think.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We know you like your funky planes, Ed.
I like my funky planes, bro. I do. I'm excited for this one. I would fly it.
Can you imagine how loud that was? If you think about it. Because engines during, you know, the 60s, 70s time weren't all that, you know, ear friendly.
Yeah.
And you're putting 4 on something of this size. That had to have been a bitch.
Those
story.
look like Learjet. Those look like Learjet engines. And they are high-pitched, very loud engine.
Yeah.
Times 4. You're right.
God, that had to hurt.
This was submitted by Mr. Tarpoon. Finally, Cool Sky DC9 and Super 80 coming to P3DV4. Yes, 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 yes. More classics. More classics.
So my question to this is there a difference between the MD-80 that we have now and the, whatever that's called, Super 80? That's a DC-9 essentially, and the other one's an MD-80, is that right?
Yeah, it's basically an MD-80.
Yeah. I would imagine there are some differences, but this one has an FMS in it.
School us.
I like.
School us in the comments, please. School us. School us. Tell us.
Yes. Por favor.
SAS.
Texturing is good. Modeling is good. 3 different variants for the cockpit. I like that.
I like it. I like it.
Yep. Pretty nice. I hope it has the exit at the back.
Oh, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So this is a study level airplane with failure simulations.
So it's a DC-9. Yeah.
Tarpoon says, I know we have the Mad Dog, but I have been emailing these guys to do a P3D variant of this plane. Yay! Thank Mr. Tarpoon for that influence. Hey! For a long time, they weren't interested, so it was a surprise when they suddenly announced the V4 compatibility on Facebook. The Super 80 Classic, Super 80 Professional, and DC-9 Classic are now coming to P3D. We're currently in beta testing. Release expected soon.
I'm curious to see what planes they got.
That's it.
That's it? Well,
It's their lineup.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let's see. That's it.
Ultimate Airliners, Classic, Professional.
So basically, they're bringing the whole library over.
All right. That's cool. I like that.
This one's submitted by Orbex via Ivanafly. KSAN V2. A few more shots. If you missed the news this week, Orbex has announced KSAN, which is San Diego V2. It will be a free upgrade for all that currently own KSAN. And if you didn't know, it was on sale for 50% off. And may or may not be by the time this video is released. But all that own it will get V2 for free. It says the developer said that it was like a major overhaul with a almost 100% performance improvement.
Yeah,
that's huge for SoCal.
The original I found it is a great airport, but yeah, it was very resource intensive. And with their new technologies that Orbit's are bringing in, making it lighter and more more sim friendly is a great thing.
So is it an FSX update too? I would imagine, because it's Orbex.
Probably. Yeah, because, well, Man, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know. That's a good question, but I would think so.
Yeah. Usually, they have not announced any drop of FSX support, so I would imagine it's still supported. It's nice though because it's been very long time since they released that airport, so it was quite overdue for an update.
They also
I'll fly
mentioned a
there
lot
tomorrow.
of updated static aircraft as well. So that's another
Yeah.
fun one.
Cool.
Lots of updated static aircraft. San
A lot of
Diego's
things
a
in the
great
region
place
as well.
to fly, and like Sparky said, it's always been pretty heavy. This is that naval base that's down there. You've got the Coast Guard static aircraft, which will be great for some Coast Guard streams, Sparky. We'll be patrolling the coast on a show near you. And go ahead and grab it if it's still 50% off, and if it's not, well, Ksan's a beautiful area. Grab it anyways, because the approach is incredible.
Yes, you always use the car park structure, don't you, Sturitz?
Yeah, the car park. I used to go and plane spot there in real life. Right on the short final for the main runway is this just parking structure, and you can pay to park and drive to the very top, and they fly directly over your head and dip down into the airport. That's pretty awesome. Dreamfoil Creations shows renders of the upcoming MD-500. The little tiny bumblebee helicopter that Sparky loves to fly is coming for X-Plane.
Yeah, and it looks from the renders looks like it's going to be sweet. If it's anything like the quality of their 407, you know, it's a must buy for me. Absolute must buy.
Over at HeliSimmer, they've got some more renders. Let's have a good look.
I love that helicopter.
Shout out to
So much fun to
Sergio.
fly.
Look at this. This is GTA. That's all I can think of when I see this damn chopper.
Yeah, the
It
buzzard.
always reminds me.
The buzzard,
and,
yes.
Hopefully, I'm hoping they have delivery. It's the chopper from Magnum PI.
But that's not this plane, is it?
Yeah, it's the MD 250, I think.
Oh,
It's
okay.
close enough.
I said plane. Ha! I'm on the wrong side. Sergio's gonna ban me from the heli.
But planes
He's gonna
as well.
ban me from the HeliSimmers Facebook group now. He's gonna be like, bro, you called it a plane.
That's a lot of detail. Look at the ground cable on the bottom right. It's incredible. It's
Yeah, it's
connected.
beautiful.
The cable's connected. It's amazing.
Yeah, they are really detailed, and their physics engine is
Wow.
awesome at Dreamfoil as well.
Oh yeah, they're known for that. Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. I'll have that.
Last but not least, an announcement, ladies and gentlemen. There was an issue with logging into the website using your Twitch login, and I also found that using your Google login was giving errors. It has now been fixed. My job is done. You're back in business. If you've been unable to log in using your Twitch, go log in and submit stories. It's fixed. You have no excuse now. None whatsoever. Thank you for your patience.
You know, there's a link here, because isn't that the pilot from Magnum PI?
It
That's
is!
Yeah, that's TT. Yeah,
And-
him and I can't remember the guy's name, but his name was Larry Manetti, the actor, the other guy who flew that bird. But yeah,
You see? And we didn't even plan that, Sparky. Synergy, my friend.
Synergy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Clip of the Week. Here we go with this one, clipped by Mr. Gibbon. It says, I don't even... Let's just hit play. It sparks.
But you need to drift down. If you're sinking at 2,000 feet a minute, there's no way you're
So he
making
lost
that airport.
both engines already.
Dustin. Oh, I lost my wings.
I lost my wings.
and now it's just nothing but a torpedo. It's a damn torpedo now.
We have no wings.
It looks like the fuselage rendering.
What makes you feel any better? That boat I was chasing is a giant aircraft carrier in the middle of the Amazon River.
Oh
makes
my
sense.
god,
But
bro!
it's not
You
as
still
smooth as
had
that.
control somehow, Sparky.
And yet somehow you're still.
Oh
you can
my
jump down.
God,
If you're
what
sinking at
happened?
2,000 feet a minute. There's no
Do you think
way
that was a
to
bug?
get to the airport.
What were you flying?
This is
in the-
brand
I
new
lost my
plane.
wings.
I mean, it literally came out that day, and I scooped it up, and I thought, let's take it out, and that happened.
Dude, you totally riched it.
Yeah,
Who can break it? Sparky can break it.
bro. It's like that
You still had
McDonald's.
control authority.
It's like that McDonald rendering that we just looked at, bro. It's very early on, but this is all I have rendered. Oh man, bro, that's amazing, Sparky.
I don't
Only
even
you.
know if the wing. I don't even know if the wings are supposed to come off like that. I have no idea.
Well, I do believe that's possible. Unless I have my SIMS crossed, but I thought under high G loads, maybe it is an X-plane where you can lose surfaces.
Right.
That's incredible.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for the clip, Mr. Gibbon. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, now you know. The fun is over at twitch.tv/the Sky Lounge TV. And now on to worth mentioning, ladies and gentlemen, this is a speed round. We're going to breeze right through this. It's all the stuff that we have discussed in detail before, and maybe now it's just released or received an update or things that are just simply worth mentioning. Here we go. Latin VFR Bermuda V2 now released for V4. What's cool is we got the scoop in here direct. Before it was even announced on their Facebook, it was posted here, a link to buy it over on Sim Market. I'm going to be scooping that one up for sure. FlyJ Sim 727 V3 has now been released. Orbex City Scene Barcelona receives an update to 1.10. Captain Sim releases the Rolls-Royce powered 757. EGLW London Heliport for V4 is out now. And Sparky, I think you scooped that one up already, right?
Yep, I did indeed. Make sure you go get it, even if you're not a helicopter pilot. It's all for charity. It costs you £1, and all the money goes to London Air Ambulance. So it's a good cause. Go and scoop it up, even if you don't fly in and out of it. Just go and add it. Scenery, scenery. All scenery is good scenery, right?
Yeah, even better when it's for charity. That's awesome, bro. I'm going to go scoop that one up today. What interesting twist of fate. The Majestic Dash 8 Q400. So I'll touch on this one a little bit. They have made an announcement to all customers. If you own the plane and purchase from Flight Sim Store, what you have to do is outlined in the post. So make sure you check out the show notes if you have the plane, and go see what you have to do to get your stuff transferred over. The folks at Majestic are being extremely helpful to getting you transferred out of the Flight Sim Store. So a big round of applause to a developer taking ownership of that fucking transfer. Bravo to you guys at Majestic. Happy to spread the word. So if you own that Q400, that Dash 8, get over to the link, see what you've got to do to transfer out of the Flight Sim Store. So there's yet another developer giving a warning. WX Advantage Radar Weather Update for P3D 4.3 has now been released. If you own the Milviz WX Advantage Radar. POSCON offers VATSIM $50,000.
Yeah, we all know about that though.
Bum, 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 bum. Declined. Dead Stick Simulator to be play tested at EGX. So if you've got time to visit that expo, it's a gaming expo in Europe. Where is it, Sparky?
Manchester, I do believe.
In Manchester. Head over there and you get to actually use Dead Stick. Aeroplane Heaven Bristol Bulldog receives an update to 1.2. And last but not least, the V-Sky Labs DC3 Flying Lab project receives a new update 2.7 B3. That's it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking around. We love you all. Thanks for the great news and topics. Until next week, Guy 5.
I'd just like to say hello, Mum.
63, climb maintain 13 down.
13,000, Tempo 63.
463, contact the New York Center 128.3.
28 for Agent Blue 63, good day.